everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year.
It looks like you're like in an exam and you're like, what are my notes?
No, anyways, welcome back to a new episode of Conversations with Friends. We're glad to have you back in 2023. How has your New Year been, Theresa? Oh my God, my English is like been.
It's been a while since we recorded actually. Like when was it? Yeah, it was like before the New Year. We had like a little winter break. We were with the families. Garwing was in Brazil, as you can maybe see because she's fucking tanned. I'm like a ghost next to you, but it's okay. You know?
I accept.
But yeah, my New Year's been good. I mean, we'd spent New Year's together, which is really nice.
It was so nice to kind of, I think that was one of the nicest New Year's I've ever had.
It's on the list. It's on my like, I think Australia, when we were there, was still my top favorite just because. Yeah, no,
it was nice. I think they're both like competitions.
Yeah, they're competitions. Yeah, they're really different in a way,
different kind of, how do you say,
experiences?
God. Yeah, and places as well.
Yeah.
So different people too. But
it was very nice and it was a good start into the new year. And yeah, I'm starting fresh.
23 and free is the mantra.
Yeah. I feel like you've been saying that so much and it's like always in my head now because like you said it and I'm like every time I see 2023 I'm like, and free.
And free.
It's like, it's just, I don't know. Anyways, but you can interpret that for you however you like.
However you like in any kind of way. But we hope that you guys had a good start as well, that you're feeling great and motivated and are not stressed or doing...
leave all the bad stuff in 2022.
Exactly.
I feel like Christmas is always like the super stressy period and then it's like New Year's and everyone's like, oh my God, and I need to make a vision board and like I need to do this and show up for myself and I need to like book my fitness classes.
Yeah, in the last like 2 weeks, everyone's like trying to be the best version of themselves. Like I haven't done it at all in the whole year, but then the last 2 weeks are like, I'm going to the gym, I'm meditating, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And
I'm so annoyed. I wanted to book fitness classes and they're all booked out now because everyone's just going to the gym or like doing these fitness classes.
The first 3 weeks of January.
And I'm like very late when it comes to booking my fitness. I'm like very spontaneous and like, oh, do I feel like Pilates tomorrow? And it's like, oh, no, it's booked out for the next 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, everyone who just starts in January and then stops after a month. I'm going all the time.
It's always the same thing. Like the gym. I was at the gym yesterday, I haven't been to the gym in like 3 weeks or something because I was in Brazil as well. But it was so busy and it was a Saturday and I was like, do you have anything else to do rather than to go to the gym? Like I can talk about myself.
I mean, it's good that people are doing that. I just hope that they keep those habits and don't just
it's a very short-lived thing sometimes. Like people who like are really motivated for like the first 2 weeks and then just kind of just
that all or nothing mentality that we want to leave in 2022. We'll get to that later. Oh, sorry, I hit the microphone. Anyways, but before we start with today's episode, which is the first of 2023, would you like to present your gem of the week?
So my gem of the week, I was thinking about it and I really I've been thinking about it and I really like it. If I would listen to our podcast, I think I would like it when I hear like about good products, if that makes sense. Like, so that's why I'm going to present to you a very good product.
Just finding like a reason to like present another product.
No, it's by Elf. And I've had it for like so long. And it's like because I've been really trying to kind of find the perfect bronzer for me. Like,
didn't you have a product from Elf last time as well?
Yes, but it
was a highlighter, right?
Like, no, it was a bronzer as well, but it was a powder bronzer. It's like it's like 4 different like bronzers. There's like a shimmery one, like a matte one, darker as well.
It's just like 4 different types of bronzers that you need in 2023.
No, that's the old product.
That was finished. 4 different shades in one thing.
Yes, and I finished that. But now I kind of rediscovered a cream product for myself, and I feel like I can work way better with it, and it looks so good on my skin tone. And it's called the Cream Contour Duo or something, and there's like a bronzer and a blush just like next to
and it's cream.
Yes, and it's cream. And the blush is like such a nice tone as well. And like I love it when you put like a little bit on the bridge of your nose and you look a bit like
I do that too, the blush thing, you know.
But yes, I've been really liking it, and because I hate it when I use bronzer and it like makes me look like how do you say, like very... Oh, they're like...
I think that's what's happening with me right now. But yeah, like flaky.
Yeah, flaky. How do you call it in English?
Like patchy?
Patchy, yes. Patchy. And I splotchy that when like, I don't know, because I'm like, my skin's a bit darker. So if I use an even darker tone, it looks so splotchy as well. And I hate that. But yeah, I've been really liking that cream contour
Maybe I need to try it because Elf's really cheap as well.
Elf is super cheap and super affordable.
Where do you get it?
Online, I guess, or
because I was like thinking, where do you get it? Like,
I think Sephora.
Maybe you can get it at like Bootney or like those kind of drugstores that I never go to.
Yeah, maybe just like a
if you have that, if you live in Germany, you have Bootney.
But yeah, that's my gem of the week. What about yours?
Mine is a book. Ooh. Yes, so look at me. I finished a book in 2022. OMG. I'm going to keep that habit for 2023, but for everyone who's...
Just like one book per year?
No, I read more than one, but like I finished the year with a good book, which is called Everything I Know But Love from...
Bell Hooks?
No, that's the one we talked about in an episode that's all about love. I know it sounds so similar. I'm like, all about love in 2022.
She's all about the love.
No, but it's a different book. It's called Everything I Know About, and then it's like says parties, boys, but it's all crossed through, and then it says love.
Okay,
and it's by Dolly Alderton, who is a she's a British journalist who wrote for like Sunday Times and like different magazines, and she normally writes about like dating life, and that's what she's like known for like her articles about dating life. And she published this book. I don't know when, but she published it a few years ago, and it's like a best-selling book, and they also made a TV show out of it. Oh. And it's really, really good because it's kind of different to the books I normally read because it's like her memoir. Like it's about like her life from like 20 or like even like teenage years, I think 16 maybe. I'm not sure where it starts, but it's some age gap and then till 30. So like every chapter is like everything I know about love in my 20s or everything I know about love in 21. And it always starts with like things she learned. Like each sentence is like a thing she learned, and then it's like a whole like chapter about like a boy she met or like funny stories, but then also like about grief and like friendships. It's a lot about like female friendships in that book, or like losing someone and drugs and partying and like studying and like all these things that you experience in your 20s. Like it's always different for everyone, but she speaks about like general things through her own experiences, and she writes it like really funny but also really inspiring, and I really like the way she was writing.
It's not too serious as well, where
like one chapter's like super funny. Like one chapter could be like break up apple crumble, and it's like her apple crumble that she made when she like broke up with a boy, and then it's like a recipe, and it's like so nice. Like you feel like you really get to know her, but then also see yourself in her stories. Like I'm sometimes also sitting there like, oh my god, yes, like so relatable, but not just like in a funny way, but also like a few like when she gets older, you can see that she gets more deep and she learns more things that are like serious. And yeah, I just really, really liked the way she was writing, and especially like her focus on female friendships as well. And I really liked that book, and I gave it to my sister as well because she studied at the same university as my sister, and she actually was holding a speech there when I was in Exeter as well at the same time, but she was in a different room than me.
Oh no.
I know. I was like, oh, I wish, because she's really inspiring. I really like her work as I studied journalism as well, and to see what she did, and like in general, like she just seems very like cool. Like I would love to have dinner with her or something. But yeah, I definitely recommend it, and also give it a chance if you're only, because I feel like when I read the first 60 pages, I was like, yeah, it's really well written, but I was like, couldn't really connect to her because she was 16 and she was talking about like partying and like throwing up, and then was like all she was talking about, and I was like, is that all this book is going to be? But then it fully switches as she gets older, so you kind of emerge with her. Yeah, but at the beginning I was like, oh, did I put this book down? Because I feel like I'm not going to learn anything from this. So like, I don't think I'm going to have a good time reading this. But then I had such a good time. And even I had such a good time. I was like inspired. I learned something from it. I felt like a friend was with me, but also
that's awesome when a book makes you feel this way.
And I never laughed from a book, which is really rare because I don't know. I feel like a book that makes you laugh is really hard, at least for me. Like even a funny movie, like I laugh from the inside, but a thing that actually like makes me smile.
Memes.
Yeah. No, if the memes make me laugh, but like if you
really? They didn't used to make you laugh. Like
I think they make me laugh if they're good. But I feel like funny movies a lot of times maybe they're also just not funny. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes I laugh from the inside, but something that actually makes me smile and laugh, it's kind of hard. But this book
sounds awesome. So it's called All About Love?
No, Everything I Know About Love.
Oh my God.
All About Love is the other one.
Oh my God. Okay,
that's more like really focusing on the term love. This one's more like experiences about like, not just about love, but also like dating, friends, parties, growing up, being awesome. In your 20s. Yeah, if you're lost in your 20s, read that book. It's pretty good. So like, I think maybe a lot of people that are listening.
Me?
Yeah, I think everyone in their 20s is. So yeah, that's why she wrote that book, I think, as well, to like make you think, yeah, it's normal to be lost in your 20s.
That sounds awesome, though. I'll definitely check it out. You guys should definitely check it out as well. But that was your demo. Anything else, or was that it?
Well, there's other things, but I think that was like the one that just came into my head.
One to start off into the new year with. But anyways, so today the topic is, as we have reached the new year, Theresa and I thought it would be good to kind of reflect a little bit, do some thinking about what we learned, like what lessons we learned like last year. I keep like, it sounds so like far away when we say last year, but it's like only been like 8 days or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so the topic today is going to be about what lessons we've learned in 2022 and what we just took away from the year. And
yeah, I think we did one last year as well, right?
We did one, what we learned in 2021.
Yeah, and it would be cool to do it like all the time and just always reflect and like listen back on like what we've learned the last year.
Yeah, it obviously changes year to year because you obviously have different experiences and are like in different phases of your life. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Theresa, would you do the honest start?
Okay. I already talked to Carol and I told her that I wrote this a few weeks ago. So I was like rereading it and I was like, what did she mean? Like she, past self me. What did I mean by this?
You like speaking?
Yeah. But I think I know exactly what I meant with all this, but it was nice because I had to like rethink my lessons. Anyways, first one is you'll never be 21 and in Paris again. Money will come and go. Memories last. Mm-hmm. Basically, because I saw a video of this guy talking about you'll never be 21 and in Paris again. Basically meaning that you'll never have these moments again and these memories that you make in your younger years and like, or just in general in your life, and that sometimes memories are more important than the money and that you sometimes just should do it and go for the memories instead of
like obviously if you
money.
have enough, like if you are able to afford stuff, like we're not
but not even like just traveling, but in general, like sometimes it's just when you're rethinking about things like should I do this or not, like sometimes just do it and just live in the moment and embrace your youth. Because when you're 60, yes, you can still do things, but there's a lot of things you can't do anymore. And you're maybe thinking, oh, I wish I would have done this at 20. And like, I never regretted going to a holiday or a vacation or going on this trip. I never did because I gained so much knowledge and memories from it that will last me forever. And I think those are also things like when you die one day, you'll think of all the memories you have and not how much money you have in your bank account. Mm-hmm. And I also just wrote that down because we were in Paris last year. So I was 21
and I was
in Paris.
21.
And it was such a good memory. Like it was such a fun girls trip we had. And I still think about that sometimes.
Oh, that was so nice. It was so hot as well. Like we had lots of laughs.
Yeah. And that was like so like worth the money for me. And like I would do it again all the time. So
Same.
Like not all the time, but like I would do it again.
Should we go to Paris tomorrow?
Let's do it. But basically just saying if you're rethinking, if you should take that gap year or if you go on that vacation, like obviously it's a different story. Like if you want to go to like a resort that's like €1,000, but I'm saying like also traveling doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Like
doesn't even have to be like, I actually read something similar, like not similar, but like that often people tend to kind of, how do you say, so we obviously have this very special dress, for example, like people or girls or guys have this special thing that they keep for special occasions or like a very expensive candle that they never light because it's a special.
I saw that too.
And then
Did
also,
I send that to you? Or like,
I don't know.
It was a video on TikTok, wasn't it? It was like a girl, she was like dancing and there was like, she was like, oh, my therapist
I think
says.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like the wine that you always keep or like, because like obviously like, and that's kind of similar to what you said, because you can always buy another candle, but you can always buy another dress, but you can never have the moment back when you wore that dress. You know what I mean? It's like all about the moments and the memories, because like those materialistic things you can always get. And I think that's such a good, how do you say, a good way of like living, because you will never know what happens tomorrow. So if you will never have worn the special dress because you always keep it for special occasions.
Yeah, what are those special occasions? Like I think what she was also saying with the video is like every moment should be a special occasion, because if you wait for the special moment to happen, then I think she was saying like your candle might get dusty or like your wine turns bad.
Yes,
or, like,
exactly.
All these things. Like it's like don't wait for the special moments to happen. Like make your moment special, you know? So
Absolutely.
You know, I saw that video too and I was like, yes, that's so true, because I'm the kind of person with the candle. I think the candle thing really related to me because I never burn my candles and then they get really dusty and I'm like, maybe I should burn them. Yeah, but I thought it was really true. Anyways, what's your point?
So yeah, I've got my first one is that life can hit you at any moment and let it be with good or bad things. So like that I really learned, or that I also want to implement that more into my life, because we always tend to, obviously, because I've had a very rough like last 6 months, I'd say. Lots of stuff happening, lots of change, which is totally okay. But we often, like human beings, often tend to kind of say, "Oh, this is good," and the other thing is bad. And then we have a lot of we struggle a lot to get out of those kind of like good or bad moments. So there's no really like just life as it is, but always just good or bad. And I think I want to implement that more into my life, that I say, okay, this is just life how it is right now, and that's totally okay. Maybe it's a bit difficult, but don't define things just as negative or bad or good or positive. So yeah, that's something that I've learned. And I also learned that you should never ever let emotion, or like never ever push anything away that your body is feeling, or any emotion away. And I've read that you should just let it pour through you like rain, or like pour on you like rain, and just let it feel and let it just go through you. Because like emotion is energy in motion, as we all know. So if you just try to keep that energy stagnant, or don't move it, or let it move through your body, it will always stay there, and you will never have any chance to. It will always stay in your body, and then it will manifest in different other things, like anxiety or whatever. So I think it's really important to just let it pour through you, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think you really taught me that. Like, I think we talked about it in like some other podcast, or even just with friends, that like you should really feel those emotions, because I tend to sometimes clench up and like be like, not letting my emotions come through, or like I'm like, don't cry right now, like don't do this right now, and then I don't cry, and then I'll like just keep it inside of me, and then I'll cry in another moment, and it's going to be like way more intense,
way worse as well.
Yeah,
like you're just gonna explode one day.
Yeah.
So if you want to cry. If you want to have a laugh. I think it's totally okay. We're all human beings, and emotions are there to be felt, and not to be not let out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I saw a video once, also like a TikTok. So many TikToks. It was like Lily Reinhardt, the girl from Riverdale, and she said, it was like an interview or something, and she said like, isn't it beautiful that we're like human beings on this planet? We got sent on this planet for like a certain amount of time, and like we get to experience all kind of emotions that you can feel. So don't just hold on to like being happy, but being happy that you can embrace all of these emotions and experience all of these different things, whether it's good or bad. But we only have this certain amount of period of time on this planet, so just cherish each moment. And like you said, don't label it as like bad or good, because bad moments can also be good because you learn something from them,
Yeah.
So
just be like, let life be how it is and what it is. Like, life's just life. Life's not bad or life's not good. Like, obviously sometimes you can say, oh my God, life's so good and stuff when you have a really good moment, or you say, oh, life's so shit when you're having a really rough time. Teresa's having some rough time with her legs. But yeah, anyways, just letting life be what it is, and just hang loose.
Yeah. She's like a Australian surfer now.
What's your next lesson? Or are you even able to tell us with your foot there?
I am. What's my next lesson? Oh yeah, the next lesson.
Yeah.
My next lesson is I am worthy of money. Basically, give me money, It's just more like,
let it flow to me.
It's just, I think, because I learned, I don't know how, if I just watched a lot of videos or if it just came to me, but I learned a lot about like money mindset in 2022.
Did you say aber after, like in German? Or did I just hear that wrongly?
Oh, maybe.
I think that was so funny.
Sometimes I switch between like English and German. It's really weird. My accent lately has been a bit off, but anyways, what I wanted to say.
Sorry for interrupting.
I am worthy of money is something I learned in 2022, because I learned so much about like money mindset, and like how I tend to still do sometimes think I'm broke, or like say these things like I don't have money, or like da-da-da-da. And I really learned like the value of money, and that I shouldn't be scared of it. It's there to enjoy life. It's there to be spent. And there's a difference between investment and like cost. So like say you buy like a lipstick, that's like a cost. But like say you buy something like a travel that you will have for your memories, or you buy a camera for like something, it's an investment. And just being like, I am worthy of money. Money will come to me. It's okay. Stop worrying so much about it, and like it will flow. And obviously I'm very privileged to say this. I'm from a very privileged background that I can even, you know, sit here and hope these things. And like, there's a lot of people out there who have to work like constantly 9 to 5, like feed their families. Like, you know, they don't even have time to think about this and money mindset and whatever it is. So I'm really happy that I can educate myself about that. But I think I learned a lot about that in 2022 and I'm still trying to learn about that in 2023. Because I think we're all like raised with this mindset of money is scary. You don't want to lose money. Like hold it tight.
This big thing about money, like money is this like
it's like a scary big word, and it's like when you were younger, it also depends on like how you were raised. But like I was raised as like you have to save money, like don't spend money. So it's like you are scared of spending money, and you think it's a bad thing.
When you keep hearing that over the years, it's really ingrained in your memory. So it's really hard to go like to walk away from that kind of mindset and be like, oh, money, it's fine. Like it's gonna come to me. And it's really difficult sometimes. Yeah,
like sometimes you feel that shame of like, I spent money. Am I worthy of this money? And like just reminding yourself like, I am worthy of money. Money will come to me. And it's just this thing that you can buy things with, and it's there to also enjoy life and buy you happiness. So don't be scared of money and just be like, I'm worthy of money and it will come to me and I'll put in the right work and it will all be okay. But yeah, maybe I need to educate myself a little bit more on that. But that was something that I definitely started to implement more into my mindset in 2022.
Awesome.
Yes.
This is the year.
Yeah. I'll be rich this year, no.
So my next one is a very short one, but comparison really is the thief of joy. I've learned that in so many moments, like especially like last year, or still like when you're sort of having a bit of a rough time in your life, and then you look at other people and you're like, why are they having why are they having a great time whilst I'm feeling so like this right now? And I think we should not, or I should not think like this, because everyone goes through their phases and everyone has their highs and lows. And just because you're having a low right now doesn't mean that another person has to be at their low at the same time. And like, it's just, it all comes in waves. And, but just in general, I think I can talk, like, how do you say, comparison has always been a very big thing in my life, because from a young age I started dancing ballet. So I think it kind of really stuck to me, because in ballet, like, or in general, like dancing, or like in ballet, I would say, there's a lot of competition and a lot of like the teacher compares you in the class a lot, and like, look at her, blah, 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 and do this and do this. And there's a lot of competition and comparison from a very young age, because you obviously want to be better than the other people in the room. And I think that's really stuck to me. And I've always tried, or I work and strive towards me not comparing myself too much to other people. I think it's also a very natural thing to do. Like, human beings are socially very complex, and they obviously want to see what other people are doing and stuff. But I think to me, like for me, sometimes it's at a very, how do you say, extreme level of comparison. And I just I want to work on that. So that's
I think it's really hard to like let go of that. I think the first step is obviously realizing that you're doing it in the first place, like that you're comparing. But I think everyone does it. Like I do it. I think it's like one of the hardest things to let go of is like comparison, because it comes in so many shapes and forms, like you said, in so many different areas of your life, whether it's your body image, your knowledge, your where you are in life, your relationships.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this as well, like when we had Edie on for talk about sex, like you can compare how much sex you have with your partner, or just in general, like what you do, like what you eat, like everything. You could compare anything.
You can compare yourself to like about anything to anyone.
Yeah, and everyone has different lives. Everyone has different bodies. Everyone has different mindsets of what they want out of life. Like everyone is built so differently, like their mind and their body. So you can't compare yourself to someone like you said, the lows and highs. Like also maybe you think someone else has a high, but maybe they're also in a low, but they don't say it. Or like, you know, all these things I think are really hard to measure. So comparison is just like also doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes things worse.
Doesn't. It literally makes things worse. And a few years ago I read something really interesting, and it was more specific about like beauty and like feeling beautiful and stuff. But it said that another woman's beauty doesn't mean the absence of your own. So that means like if someone else is very, very beautiful, it doesn't mean that you are not beautiful too. And I think that's what a lot of girls, or even myself, like think sometimes like, oh my God, she's so pretty and I'm so not like ugly is a very harsh word, but like I'm not as pretty as her and stuff. And just because someone else is very
because
beautiful,
you also compare yourself to like people that like you wouldn't compare yourself to someone who's like below you. That sounds like so bad, but you know what I mean? Like you always compare yourself to maybe unrealistic standards, or like someone else, like, oh, they have this, so I don't have this, but maybe they have something, or you have something that they don't have. You know what I mean? Like everyone has their pros and cons, and it's just like you always look for the people that are better in a way, and then it compares up to them.
I think that's a very big like thing of the ego as well, because like the ego always tells you like you are what you have and what you wear, and you are your money, and you are your achievements and everything. So and the ego mindset also really how do you say, it stems from the thought that like there have to be losers and there have to be winners in life, but that's not true. Like why would it, like this is not a football game. Like life is not a football game. There are no losers and winners. Like it's just us human beings. So I think like a lot of people, or even myself, are driven by that egoistic mind that there have to be losers and winners, and you have to be better than like someone else to kind of prove yourself to, I don't know what, like to yourself, or I don't know.
To others especially as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my lesson.
It kind of goes hand in hand with the point that I wrote down, which is stop making space for others. The world is big enough for all of us to shine. Like basically saying that sometimes you try to make yourself small, or you try to reduce a thing of you. Like I remember when I was younger, like people, like nowadays I'm still loud, but I think when I was in school, like everyone always told me I'm too loud, I'm too this. I think I talked about this before.
Yeah,
I'm too much basically. And it's just like, don't make yourself small, because other people are also making themselves small. Like we're all big enough, and like we're all diamonds basically who can shine, and like just show that to the world. Like don't hide yourself because you think there's no space for you. There's space for everyone. The world is so big, and just put yourself out there as you are. It's actually so cute. I went to a cycling class the other day, and there was this guy who was, I think I told you, he's like talking about like the new year, and it was like the end of the last year, and we were doing like a gratitude practice, and he started crying because he was like, I think he was gay, and he was like having a hard time to like come out to his like friends and family, and he was just like, yeah, I never felt like there was a space for me. I always was hiding myself, but now it's the year where I'm showing myself. And he was like, we're all diamonds, like we're all like, it was like super like cheesy, but it was so cute, and everyone hugged him at the end, and he was like, you're all beautiful. And I was like, oh, that's so true. That's like my motto of like 2023. It's just like, we're all beautiful, we're all diamonds, and we can all shine. And like I said, it sounds really cheesy, but it is true.
In the end, it's true.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so.
But was it the teacher, or was it like
it was the instructor. It was the instructor. Yeah, he was like, I had the microphone, and he was like a buff guy. Like he looked like super like toned, and like
really
had bald. Like he looked like and he had tattoos all over his body. Like you would not think he would be that emotional, but I thought it was so beautiful that he was so vulnerable in front of like, I don't know how many people are fitting in that room, but like 30 to 40 people. And then like everyone was just like clapping for him. And I was like, whoa, it felt like I was like in some self-help class while working out. And that's why I love cycling, because it's very like, at least the cycling class I go to is very about like mental as well.
Yeah.
Like they do like meditations and gratitude practices
They
and
kind
stuff.
of connect like body and mind.
Yeah, but he really wanted to. I think it's because he knew it was like the end of the year and people are going through these like things. And but yeah, I hope he's doing all right, and I hope he's sparkling right now. But yeah, really fit to what you were saying. Like if you compare yourself the whole time and like you don't think there's enough space for you, then it just makes you small and belittles the beauty that you have within yourself. So
yeah, like, and my next point, it always goes sort of like everything's like sort of connected. But my next point is that I've heard that, I think in a podcast, this girl saying that feeling your best is in your own hands. Obviously, you can always have like different circumstances and different like people around you and different phases of your life where maybe something's not going the way you wish it was going, but like feeling good and being happy isn't dependent on any exterior thing, like anything. It just has to come from you, and like it's in your own hands to feel happy, and your mood is in your own hands. You can always say, oh, like, I don't know, this and this is happening, but in the end, it's always about you and what you do from the situation, how you react, what you think. It comes from within. So I think that's something I really had to learn as well, especially when going through a hard time.
And also like figuring out what really makes you happy from the inside. I think that's the challenge, is like to figure out what is really something that truly makes me happy. Like, yes, clothes can make you happy for the moment, or like good food can make you happy for the moment, but it's like what's actually like something that will keep you happy, like you said, from the inside. And I think that's especially when you have like more like a spiritual awakening, or like you learn that that's such a important thing, and that like has a lot to do with like energies and what you consume and like how you put yourself out there. And I think it has a lot to do with like how you are to other people, but also like, for example, me, like I feel like when I work out or I do things for people, like say I give someone a compliment, it also makes me feel better, and not just because my ego or like something, because I did something good, and it's like the energy you get from that, and really finding ways to be happy from the inside. I think that's a challenge, but it definitely is worth taking on the challenge. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. What's your next one?
Sorry, I had like to cross some through because some of them are really interconnected, so I'm trying to like
find them all like at once. New one.
Yes. The next one is other people's lives are not always yours to live, which is something I really had to learn this year, or in general, I feel like it's a constant learning experience of like, you have your life and you have other people's lives, and obviously you like help your friends, or like you help this person, and like your lives are interconnected. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't be too consumed into other people's lives, because at the end of the day, they have to make their decisions and you have to make your decisions, and you can't change anyone else's decision. And like, you shouldn't get too worried about someone else's life, because at the end of the day, you can give them advice, you can be there for them. But if you don't like also take care of your own life and your own emotions, then you can't show up for that other person as well. So we all have our own lives that we have to take care of, and then we can help other people with their lives. But yeah, I feel like I also meet a lot of people sometimes where I feel like they are so consumed by other people's problems, and that can show in different things, like either they're worrying or people are gossiping as well. It's also kind of like a form of I'm too consumed in someone else's life, but in like a more egotistical way. But it's just like a waste of time, because at the end of the day, they have to go through their own stuff, and you can just give them advice and like show up.
You can't live their life.
Yeah. And then it like also like, I think a lot of like when I'm at home with my family, I sometimes think maybe I'm not with my family enough, or maybe I'm not there for them. But then my boyfriend said the other day, he's like, you have to also be able to live your own life. Like they also want you to live your own life. You can't just always be there for someone else and feel guilty all the time, because that doesn't help anyone. And I was like, oh yeah, true. Okay. Because sometimes I feel guilty that I'm like, maybe not at home as much, but that was their life and they chose to live at this place, and they didn't get a child to take care of them. They got a child for the child to have their own life.
Yeah.
So reminding myself of that as well is something I learned in 2022.
No, but that's also like my next one's not similar, but it's you have to be selfish sometimes and do what your heart desires. It kind of goes hand in hand with your thing. Like you have your own life and stuff, and just like, obviously I'm not saying that, for example, like being selfish is like, oh, I'm not going to help you, like, or like in any kind of way like this. But sometimes when you find yourself in a situation and you just really need to decide whether or not it's like, you know, like your heart, if your heart desires that, if you really, if you're burning for that, and if not, that's totally okay. And then you have to be selfish sometimes, like, and make the decision, and maybe it's going to hurt other people, or like some other things are going to happen. But if it makes you happy in the end, that's the most important thing. And like I said, I'm not saying in any way that you have to be selfish and take all the stuff, like, I don't know, take all the credit, or like take all the things, like have all the things and be selfish and not help any people, not in that kind of way, but just in a general life way, if that makes sense.
Like showing up for yourself as well.
Yeah, showing up for yourself. And like, sometimes we're so focused on wanting to please other people that we forget to please ourselves and make us happy. And like, obviously it's nice, but in the end, if it hurts you too much and if you are energetically drained from it, then it's obviously not what your heart desires.
Because hurt people. So if you then are going to be a hurt person, like, that doesn't help anyone. And then it also just gonna make this big bubble of people who are like unhappy with their life. So,
and if you're not doing what your heart desires, then it's obviously gonna show up in your actions and in your thoughts and in your feelings. And I swear to God, like doing something that you don't want to do or being someone that you don't want to be is like the worst feeling ever. Just like, just in general, like even simple things, like, I don't know, doing something, or like, I don't know if you. I've had that so many times where you have like do stuff that you don't really want to do, and you're just like thinking like, I don't want to do this right now. Like I would rather do something else. Like, and in those moments, it's important to show up for yourself and to be like, okay, no, this is not what I want.
Yeah, I was like walking the other day, just like through Berlin, and then there was this woman, like an older lady. She was like on the bike, and I was walking over a bridge, and there was like other people with bikes as well, and they were like on the bike, and normally you have to like get off the bike when you're on that bridge and walk. I don't know. And she was like walking and she was like shouting at everyone who's on their bike, like, why are you not getting off? Like fully shouting at them. And one woman was turning and then she was like, can't you read? Like you need to read. Like why are you not reading the sign? And then the other woman who was like on the bike was like turning around and was like, why can't you be happy? And I was like, oh my God, that's like so true, because people who are just like so hurt and unhappy with their life like show up like that in real life and like show it to other people, and then you ruined that woman's day, and then everyone just ruins each other's day, and it's like just,
I swear that people sometimes they like, I have to learn that something like that's something I have to learn as well, but I swear to God other people sometimes are so extreme about this, like they take shit too seriously. They take stuff literally too seriously, and I'm like, why? Like why?
It doesn't matter. Like
it doesn't, in the end it doesn't fucking matter. Why are you like, why are you being like
this? Like worrying about like whether you go to this, like it's like, I feel like I always remind myself of this when like something actual bad happens, and then you're like, why did I worry about this like mediocre like little thing when like something actually bad happens, you know? And then like just, I think especially it's a German thing where people just get so enraged about like the rules.
Oh my God,
things,
like fuck off, it's fine. Like if I don't do this, or like honestly,
no one died, okay? Unless someone dies, everything's fine. Like if this woman doesn't get off her bike and just wants to cycle a little bit on the bridge, no one's going to die from this.
Like okay. What's the use of this, of shouting at other people? It's just going to make you more angry and make you more frustrated.
And everyone else as well. Everyone else around you.
And there's no solution to this. Like no one's like, oh yes, she shouted at me. My day's just gotten better.
Thank you for telling me I have to get off my bike. Otherwise something would have happened to me. Thanks for showing up for me. Like I don't think this woman also did it to save anyone else. I think she just did it because she wanted to like shout at someone.
Yeah, that's also like a lesson. Don't take like shit too seriously. Like
it doesn't matter. Life's too short to worry. Anyways, what's I don't know if you were like the last point or if it was me, but
yeah, you can just go. What was your last one?
It was the stop making space for others. The world's
big enough. Then you are the next one. Yes.
What is? Oh yeah, that's what we kind of said at the beginning. It's like don't live with an all or nothing mentality. Don't live with an all or nothing mentality. Live in moderation and give yourself some passion, because I tend to sometimes just do all or nothing. So many situations like I want to do it all, or then I'm like so demotivated and do nothing, or like I want to drink alcohol and then I drink the whole bottle instead of just drinking one glass, and like thinking to yourself, it's okay to start small and give up in little moments, but then start again, and don't be so frustrated if you don't get it all in a second. I think sometimes
start with a few glasses of wine, Theresa.
Yeah, and then just work your way up and see what happens. But no, just like, you know what I mean? Like being passionate to yourself. Passionate? Is that what you were?
Passionate about?
Like being nice to yourself as well and forgiving when something doesn't happen in a second.
Be empathic. Like empathic?
Empathetic.
Anyways, feel empathy.
Feel empathy. Yourself. Yeah, feel empathy for yourself.
Feel
that
empath.
Yeah, so like just
grammar school with conversations with friends.
just feel empathy for yourself when something doesn't work out the way you want in the first second, and don't give up immediately and be like, I'm gonna do this for like I'm gonna work out every single day. And
same thing with the gym.
Yeah.
Just like putting so many big goals sometimes results in like not doing it.
Yeah, then you're just overwhelmed and you sit there. And I think it's definitely like New Year's resolutions, like start small and see what you can do, and actually it's manageable instead of being overwhelmed with all these goals you want to achieve.
And even if it's just one thing, it's fine as well.
Yeah.
Like you don't always I feel like people always put so many goals for them in the new year and then get so frustrated at the end that they haven't achieved, for example, anything on their list, or just one of the little just done. Oh my God.
One of the tasks.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just got lost in my mind. You've just achieved one task, and that's totally okay as well. It's fine. Like it's better to start off small and don't put and not put too much on your plate, rather than putting too much on the plate and then it falls down because you can't hold it.
Yeah.
What nice a good metaphor.
Yeah, no, definitely. I sometimes have moments where I just sit on my bed, and when you have a to-do list of so many things you need to do, and then you just sit on your bed and you're like, thinking of things you need to do, and you're so overwhelmed. I think that happened to me so much in 2022 that I was like, no, just start with something small. Like start with making your bed. This needs to end in 2023. No, but just starting small, today as well. This morning I woke up and I was like, all these things I need to do. And I was like, just start with drinking a glass of water, or like start with making the bed, and then you'll eventually just like tick them off and like set priorities. But don't be this like, I need to do it all or I'm going to do nothing. And it's just like a very extreme mentality.
Also have some patience, because sometimes things don't come to you straight away and they need time.
Yeah.
You know, like have patience and just...
The best things in life take time, actually. So
yeah,
like they say. Yeah, so don't give up straight away if you can't achieve what you wanted to achieve in the first place straight away. Just like feel empathy for yourself and keep going. If that's really what you want to strive for, then you'll get it in the end. But just, be patient with the situation.
Yes, awesome. My next one is kind of like they're two points together, but I wrote down that family and friends really are everything, because like I think sometimes rough times really show you who really is close to you and like just makes you realize, okay, these are my very close friends and this is my family who stands behind me. And so yeah, like also it's everything, and their love is everything. And then the next one is that communicating your feelings is the most important thing, and no one, even your closest loved ones, can guess what you're thinking. And I think I tend to do that sometimes, where I'm just like, I don't know, when I don't feel good and I'm like, why are they not like doing anything, or just like
seeing your pain.
Yes, exactly. But sometimes like no one can no one can read your thoughts. That's what I'm saying. No one can read your thoughts. Obviously, like your body language and your emotion, like your exterior. But no one can really know what you're really feeling. So that's why it's really important to communicate your thoughts and feelings if you want help or if you want someone to talk to. And I think that's something I really learned and have to still learn, obviously. Still on the kind of on my path, but yeah, that's a lesson I learned.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I think, a thing that we always say and we preach, but it's so true. It's like communication is key, that you like really need to communicate with whoever it is in your life, because otherwise it will just not go to shit, but like otherwise it's really hard for the other person or for you in general to solve the problem or like the thing that's going on, because no one can see what's going on. It's also so much better for yourself if you just let it go and speak your words and speak your feelings,
rather than just keeping it to yourself.
Yeah, because I feel like that already is a step to like getting better, because other people can help you, and it's just like sometimes it's okay to be vulnerable and to say what's wrong, and I think it's always going to end up better when you say what's going on with you and speak your truth.
And just communicating. I think that's so important, communicating, because like if we could all read each other's thoughts, it would be kind of boring and kind of weird as well.
It'd be so hectic. I'd be like, whoa, all these, I already have my own thoughts and I'm overwhelmed by that. So I don't want your thoughts as well in my life. Yes. But it would just also be so random. You would walk down the street, everyone would just think so random
and then you
stuff.
like hear like a guy like, oh, she's hot.
And you're like, or like I have like a lot of intrusive thoughts sometimes. Like, do you ever have those thoughts where you just like sometimes walk next to like a train and you're like, what if, like, not that I'm suicidal, but you're just like, what if I just jump in front of it? Or like, oh, what would happen if this thing happened? And it's just like these thoughts where you're like, why am I thinking this?
Weirdly with knives. Like if I'm like cutting something and I'm like, how would it feel if I just cut my finger off?
Really?
Or something? And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, and imagine someone else just standing next to you and they're like, oh my God, is she okay? Like so many, I mean, maybe it would be good for someone to just be like, stop your intrusive thoughts. But anyways, getting off topic. What is my next point? My next point is, one that kind of goes hand in hand with your, like, especially with the family part, is learning how to grieve or lose a person, because that was a point that I wrote down last, because I just recently lost someone in my life that was close to me, and I never lost like from death, and I never lost someone from like, I never was at a funeral, I never even had to deal with that kind of stuff. Like, I knew that people were dying around me, but I never had like someone.
It never really happened, so you never knew how it would feel.
Yeah, like especially in your family, and not just like for yourself, but how it affects like everyone else around you, and like the dynamic and like actually your emotions. And I always thought I would be like really strong and I don't care and it's normal, and like death is so normal, but it is like life and death is like such a normal like thing, and death doesn't necessarily have to be something bad. It can also be really good for someone, like, and letting go. But obviously it's still like this weird thing of like this person is dead and then they're not anymore. And then it's just like to deal with that and really understanding grief and how it can also show up differently with every person around you. Like your grief is your grief and you can't compare it to anyone else. And your tears also don't measure how much you love a person. And I realized that with my family and like with my situation, that a lot of people are trying to like put this stamp on you, like how you have to grieve or what you have to do and what you can't do and like all these things. And it's just like, it's your own life. And it's like the person that you lost and how you deal with that is your decision.
Yeah.
And just kind of realizing that life is really short and you should live your life because it can be over in any second, like literally just like this, and it can change anything. And yeah, it was like an eye-opening experience to me to, lose someone because, it just never happened to me before, which I'm really grateful for, that I never had to go through that or like experience that more in my life. But it definitely was something that was a lesson for me.
I think like a thought about death is that like everyone struggles. Every human being struggles with the fact that when someone dies, we can't put a hold on the thought that the person is never going to be there anymore. And I think that's something so hard to accept with death, because like we always say, oh, death is like everyone dies, we will all die in the end and stuff. But when it actually happens, and then when you come to terms with the fact that you're never going to see the person again, I think that's where it kind of clicks, and then you're like, fuck, you know? And I think it's not all what death is about, but it's a very major thing that you miss that, you're going to miss that person so much. And I think that's why death sometimes is so hard to accept.
Because you also don't know what happens with that person. And it's like, where are they going? Like, what's happening? Could I have changed something? Could I have said one more thing? And obviously those things never change. But like with with my situation as well, it was like the death circumstance, like, oh, how did that person die and what happened? And like, it was like a thing with the hospital where it actually was like kind of the hospital's fault. And then it was like, my whole family was really upset about that because they were like, oh, the hospital, and then blaming the hospital. But at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I personally think that life and death are like determined. Like, I feel like death.
There can't be any life without death, or any death without life. They're two different, like, it's the same thing with darkness and light. Like, there can be no light without darkness and the other way around. So they're just two things that are interconnected and obviously at two different parts in our lives. And that's what I was thinking about this, that there's no life without death and there's no death without life.
Yeah, and also just don't break your thoughts about like what could have happened if, it happened. And I think what you just need to know is like that it all is going to be all right and it's going to be fine. And like going on is like, there will be fine. And now you have to deal with it yourself, but you'll be fine as well. And like, you can't change anything about the past and no words would have changed the outcome.
Especially you can't, like, there's no solution to death. I feel like that's what my mom always used to say. Like, when you have a problem in life or something, like she would always be like, there's always a solution, but not for death. Like, obviously, like, you don't know what happens after death. We don't, like, no one knows.
Yeah.
Just in general, the kind of, there's nothing to change about if someone dies, they die. Like, they're not there anymore. So, yes, I don't know why I just said that, but that just came to my mind.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes a lot of sense. So enjoy life to the fullest.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Yeah, just if like, just enjoy your life. If you have any worries, any problems or anything, just, it's all going to be okay. There's a solution to everything and it's all going to be fine.
Yes.
I have a last one as well, which is I think we all always say, oh, love is the source, love is everything, like love is where we came from. But sometimes I think, or what I had to learn is that the source of everything is love. I agree with that, but especially one type of love, and that's self-love. Because if you don't love yourself, you don't have the ability to love someone else and to give someone the love that they deserve. And I think it just all comes from your own inward love. And because if you don't like yourself, you're not going to like the world. You're not going to like other people. Obviously, maybe it seems like you love other people, but just like, honestly, I don't think you can love someone else if you don't love yourself.
at least in that phase, or it's like it's harder to show affection and passion for other people if you can't show it to yourself, obviously.
Exactly. And I think that just in general, like self-love is the most important type of love.
Yeah, it's the root of everything, like you said, like it shows up to other people, like your friends, your family. And I feel that as well, especially not just like self-love, but if you're stressed or if you have a lot going on, that will show up in yourself and that will show up to other people and to the relationship you have with other people, whether it's a love relationship or like a friendship or whatever it is. And I think that's so important to like, work on your own internal stuff and have that time to progress your thoughts and your self-love. So I had to talk about that with my boyfriend today because he was like, like you're not showing me enough affection lately. And I was like, it really is like they say in the movies, like it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me. It's like such a shitty thing to say, but a lot of times it is because of that. Like it's your own stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be the other person. It's just like, I am dealing with stuff right now.
Yeah.
But then again, communicating that and making sure like, hey, this is just the phase. There's just a few things I have to work through and I'll be fine. But if you obviously have a lot going on that you need to work through, then it's like the question of, are you better off alone right now to just solve that? So you're not also hurting another person.
Yeah, sometimes you just need space for yourself to kind of build up the love that you need to also give up.
Like recharge your battery.
Oh my God, I don't know what, it's just blah, blah, blah.
It's Sunday, we're like chill mode. But no, I definitely know what you mean. It's just like recharging your own battery.
Exactly. Yeah. To give your battery to others as well.
Yeah, because having relationships with people, like whether it's love or friendships, takes so much energy from you, and it's a beauty. It can also recharge you so much, but it's like a give and take the whole. After like a night out, you're like, but it's like just this give and take the whole time. But if you have nothing to give, then it's just really hard to have that exchange with people. So that it's like important to be alone and important to be like, okay, how can I recharge myself and find methods in recharging yourself or things that make you love yourself. And
exactly. Do you have any other lessons? I think I finished mine.
I have like a few like random ones, which I can just like maybe read out. The first one is enjoy those period cramps. Your menstruation is sacred. If you follow the podcast, I lost my period and like for a year, and I got it back this year. And I had my period cramps when I wrote this, which was like a few weeks ago. And
I remember that on Christmas. I
had like really bad period cramps and I haven't had them for a while. And I was like so much in pain, but I was like, you got to cherish those period cramps because you have your menstruation. You should be happy about it. So if you have period cramps right now, enjoy your period cramps. And then I also had, what else did I have? Oh yeah, stop holding on to the version people like you to be. Create a new version of yourself, which I think I also mentioned in the podcast once, that sometimes we hold on to an old version that we wanted to be or wanted to achieve, and learn life is a constant path of growing and evolving and changing, and being like, that is okay. Changing is okay. I don't need to be this old version anymore. And then also like one last one I would say is also something we talked about in the podcast, which is also the topic of love, and it's love is not like a drug. It's a slow fire that needs to be nourished. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this in the All About Love episode, where it's like we always see love as this like drug that like hits you and you like love at first sight, and it's all these energies and it's an explosion and like, oh my God, and the honeymoon phase. And then it's more about also like the work that you put in. Like love is a practice, and you really need to learn to love like yourself, but also other people, and put that effort in there. It is a practice, and you have to do things to achieve that love for everything. And just realizing that last year from reading that book, but also throughout my own experiences, that love is a practice. Love doesn't just randomly come to you. No. You have to work for it to be there. And when you work for it though, it can be beautiful.
Absolutely.
So that's all I have to say.
That's all, I guess, what we've learned. Here we go. 23.
We're ready. We're ready to learn some new things.
Bring it on.
I was just thinking of the one I forgot. It was the chocolate one.
Oh my God.
It's not an important one, but I found out that dipping chocolate in tea warms your soul and is the best thing ever. So if you haven't tried that yet,
go for it.
I know I'm not like the first person to invent this trend, but
maybe you haven't tried it. Go out.
I haven't tried it like before 2022. I discovered it for myself in 2022. And I'm telling you right now, if you're having a shitty moment, get some dark chocolate or whatever chocolate you like and dipping it in tea, and the world will look brighter. my recipe now.
You will be happy. It will solve all your problems.
Maybe it's the sugar boost you get from the chocolate, but I swear, just like, I don't know. It's like this moment of like, it's fine. You know, like sometimes you just need a moment to like what you said before of like, Recharge. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, yeah.
It's all okay.
I'm just eating the chocolate.
Yeah, because sometimes I enrage over things that don't make any sense and have all these thoughts, and then I just sit there with my chocolate and I'm like, you know what?
Again.
Life is good.
Anyways, guys, that's on another note. We hope that you learned a lot in 2022 as well, as much as we did, and or just like in general learned stuff in 2022, and also hope that you will learn heaps in 2023 because life's all about learning, and it's a constant process of learning things. And yes, so we hope you can take a little bit away from what we've just presented to you, and maybe do some reflecting as well, what you've learned the last year, or what you sort of want to implement more into the new year. And yes, do you have anything else to add to that,
Just
Theresa?
that we're really looking forward for the new year and new podcast episodes.
So excited.
And recording again and sharing what we will learn through 2023.
The camera just turned off.
Anyways, last 2 minutes, but all I wanted to say is that 2023 will be our year. It will be your year. And like I said, we're all diamonds. Show your shine. Show your shine. Shine into the world. And oh my God. I sound like I'm some fucking cult leader. Anyways, but 2023 will be your year, and we hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are. And
don't forget to be present. And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Au revoir.